The wait is over. For the first time since 2012, Texas and Texas A&M get together for a weekend series as SEC members. Welcome into McCombs Field. It should be quite a fun weekend with Amanda Scarborough. I'm David Salzman. So the rivalry rekindled, but both programs at the top of their game. Texas, defending champs, ranked #1 in the nation heading into today. A&M, last year's #1 national seed. They're 5-1 in the SEC. There's more than just state pride on the line this weekend.
Okay, but let's face it. When you're playing a rivalry series, the emotions are heightened. The heartbeat is a little bit more pounding. I mean, it just means more on the SEC, but an SEC rivalry matchup, it just means the most.
It meant a lot for Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart to come through. Back-to-back homers in the 6th Wednesday at Texas State, giving the Longhorns a 3-2 win, extending their winning streak to 27.
Yeah, Katie Stewart's first 2 years at Texas were really good, but this year has been unbelievable. Her OPS numbers, RBIs, home runs, she can hit the ball, 300 feet every time she steps up. And of course, Reese Atwood, don't forget about her as senior. 41 RBIs, still the home run machine. These two in the lineup for Texas are not only 2 of the best in the SEC, but 2 of the best in the nation. And then for Texas A&M, they also have 2 of the best in the SEC with Maya Perez, who put together an All-American year last year, doing the same thing this year. One of the best OPSs in the SEC. That left-handed power is going to be big to see if she could actually get pitched to in this series. And Michaela Ward came over from Oklahoma State, had an okay year last year, but this year healthy, feeling comfortable, adding home run power to A&M's lineup. These 4 hitters, truly 4 of the best in the SEC. The question is, will they get pitched to?
The number is incredible. Stewart and Atwood an OPS of 1622. Perez and Warwick not far behind, 1425. Home runs, RBIs just about even. This is the lineup that Tegan Kavon will face for Texas today. Kennedy Powell, her usual leadoff spot. Maya Perez, first time all season, batting second. It's one of the best offenses in the nation, and especially lately. Last 4 games, 11 runs per contest after the previous 4, just over 3 a game.
A lot of pop right there in the middle of the order. 4 left-handed bats in a row, 9, and then 1 through 3. And then a lot of righties follow each other too.
Tegan Kavon, plenty of experience against A&M. Got the save in Game 3 of the 2024 Super Regional. Of course, most outstanding player of last year's College World Series. And here she is again. Texas has won 17 straight Tegan Kavon starts, and in this, her junior campaign, an ERA of just 181, 103 Ks, and just over 77 innings.
Yeah, type of pitcher. You know exactly what you're going to get out of Tegan Kavon, just the epitome of consistency since her freshman year. You know, too, you're going to get 68 plus miles an hour up in the zone as she goes to her rise ball about 75% of the time. The thing that has helped her in her career as she enters her junior season, or now is in the middle of it, is throwing her drop ball a little bit more and that effective changeups she's had since she was a freshman.
We talked about how Atwood and Stewart helped save Texas Wednesday. Same for Tegan Kavon, 3 1/3 hitless innings pitched, and she got the win, keeping Texas with their 27-game winning streak, 29-1 overall. Kennedy Powell, third baseman for A&M, in the batter's box, and we are underway at first pitch ball. Powell hitting .437. She has reached base in 35 straight games. That goes all the way back to last season. Senior from Conroe, Texas, making her 149th career start in an Aggie uniform. Count is 2-1.
And she's really elevated her game as a senior, just in every aspect. As a leadoff hitter, the way that she's played defense, the way she gets on base, the way that she's stealing bases, everything has been better for KP.
3-1 count. To your point, hitting .437 this season, hit .339 in 2025. Laced base hit.
Yeah, really good eye at the plate by Kennedy Powell to work that to a hitter's count. And kind of a crazy stat that I just happened to write down before this game, but in a 3-1 count, opponents against Tegan Cavan are hitting .571. That a 3-1 pitch, these A&M hitters and hitters count like that are going to be looking to hit and avoid 2 strikes against a strikeout pitcher in Cavan.
So that's Powell's 36th straight game reaching base. If Maya Perez is to do the same, she would match Powell for that on-base streak. And what a season for the junior from Corona, California, batting .494.
Yeah, that swinging at that rise ball is exactly what Tegan Cavan in Texas wants, getting Maya Perez out of her strike zone. The key to hitting against Tegan Cavan is not chasing that pitch. It's exactly what she wants these hitters to do.
Count 1-1. The number is astounding for Perez. We just saw some of them a couple of minutes ago. Her on-base percentage, .639, slugging .1074. She's hitting .540 with runners on base, and Powell at first after a leadoff single. To the right side, it finds the hole. Back-to-back singles for Texas A&M to begin this one tonight.
And a little bit of a shift that they played on Maya Perez, where the middles were playing more up the middle of the field. You see that Leanne Good and Vivi Martinez, see how they're pinched up toward the middle of the field? It really opened up this 3-4 hole where Perez can just bounce it through. Stewart was playing back, couldn't quite get to it. Now A&M has 2 on.
And a big reason for A&M's offensive resurgence, not just Powell and Perez, but Ariel Kowalewski, the A&M catcher.
Immediately you notice how Kowalewski is towing the line, crowding the plate against Cavan. One of the things that Trisha Ford told us about facing Cavan is how difficult that pitch is that moves away from the left-handed hitters. Just like that. And it even looked like Reese Atwood was set up on the inside corner a bit, and that pitch still went up and tailed away from Kowalewski. That is a tough pitch for the left-handed hitters to deal with.
She's 7 for 10 her last 3 games. First career multi-homer game Tuesday in the win over Sam Houston. 1-2.
Good in-at-bat adjustments by Kowalewski made to take these last 2 pitches. Just both teams trying to figure out the strike zone early, and as the home pitcher, you're the first one to see what the home plate umpire is going to call. What's the top of the strike zone going to be for Cavan, who wants to throw that rise?
To right, Ashton Maloney. Tagging to third, Powell. Here's the throw, safe. What a throw by Maloney. I don't think many players would have gotten to third safely, but Powell with the speed to do so.
Yeah, Maloney did everything that she possibly could to get behind this fly ball and angle her body, knowing that Kennedy Powell is at second with her speed, and that's where the throw is going to go. Great one hop, except it was a little bit off the bat. You saw JC Nichols go towards her left side and then have to fall back toward third base, and that is the difference between Powell being safe and out. That throw on the money, a one hopper to Nichols, that is just where she doesn't have to move, I think gets her. Let's see if there's going to be a review here, possibly.
Trisha Ford, 4th year as Texas A&M head coach. And here's Megan Rabin.
Texas is challenging the call at third base. The following play is under review.
Rick Cowan, the third base umpire, was right on it, made the safe call right away. Right now there's Powell at third after tagging up, just beating the Ashton Maloney throw.
Yeah, I thought her foot got in there just watching it live. I'll be interested to see if when we see some replays, if it tells us anything different. But live, ooh, even closer than I thought. Let's see if the cleat gets in. That is just closer than I thought it was going to be. I don't know if there's enough to overturn, but I will tell you, David, I have learned just to not have too much hope, in my opinion, on these replays. So it's been tough to, I feel like, get these right this year. So we'll see.
After review, the call on the field stands. The runner is safe. Texas has one challenge remaining.
Yeah, so on those plays, David, they're looking for something clear and obvious that will overturn it, right? And that was so close. I mean, bang, bang, but I think by about an inch, maybe a centimeter, Kennedy Powell gets her foot in there. To me, that was not clear and obvious to overturn it. So the call will stand, and A&M 60 feet away from scoring.
This vaunted Aggie lineup continues with Michaela Warwick hitting cleanup. 3 home runs her last 4 games. First pitch strike from Kavan. Oklahoma State transfer, her OPS just over 1,200. You see the 13 home runs, second on the squad. Just like to Kowalewski, Kavan is ahead of Warwick 0-2. Back-to-back singles to begin this one. Runners on the corners with 1 out.
Kavan continually going to that rise ball, and what makes it so tough for these A&M hitters or any hitters this season that have faced Kavan is just her ability to throw her rise ball at multiple levels. She can throw it from the knees all the way up to the eyeballs. She wants you to chase it, of course, at that upper level. And then she can freeze you on a pitch like that. I thought that that was a strike, should have been strike 3. You can say great take by Warwick, and Reese Atwood also thought it was going to be a strike, but that's that lower level rise ball that makes her so effective. And Reese Atwood, of course, one of her best friends, catching her today.
Great camera work too. You see the smile on Atwood, thought she had the call. Instead, a blooper, shallow left field, that'll drop. Powell comes in to score. Texas A&M, the first run of the night.
Good job of Warwick just battling with 2 strikes. And let me tell you, that is so frustrating as a pitcher to think that you got strike 3 and then you make a great next pitch, the following pitch that jams a home run hitter and Warwick, only for her to get just enough of it to find a hole behind your shortstop. Jammed, didn't get good barrel to it. But Kennedy Powell, who got on with that single, gonna come around to score first in this game.
Atwood and Kavan. Conference in the circle for Warwick, her 46th RBI to lead the Aggies. That's top 15 in the nation. So 3 singles off the Texas ace Tegan Kavan here in the top of the first. And the first run of this weekend series goes to Texas A&M. First conference series since 2012 when both these squads were Big 12 members. Perez comes out. Haley Golden will trot to second as the pinch runner, with Warwick on first. Another one of these impact transfers for Texas A&M, Talon Edwards at bat.
And just understanding A&M is an opportunity with multiple runners on base against Tegan Kavan, less than 2 outs, make that pinch runner change early. You never know how many chances you're going to get against a pitcher like Tegan Kavan, so you want to capitalize on it early.
Talked about how this Aggie offense has come through the last few games. Edwards, one of those prime examples, 6 for 10, 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in her last 3 games. Had 4 RBIs Tuesday in the win over Sam Houston. 1-1. Sky high. J.C. Nichols there, 2 away.
That can be tricky with your first baseman, catcher, pitcher, a lot of defenders there that see that ball in the air. Great job with the freshman. J.C. Nichols taking control, exactly what a third baseman needs to do with that towering pop-up, be able to get underneath it and secure the out herself.
And now Kelsey Mathis, sophomore from Waco, Texas. Brother Patrick played baseball here just a decade ago. First pitch ball. Mathis, Kelsey, in the last 10 games hitting .407, .333 overall this year.
Became the everyday center field starter for A&M once they put Ariel Kowalewski back behind the plate. She slid right into that center field position, and she's been thriving offensively. Slow start when she wasn't an everyday starter, but when you look at her numbers since she took that center field role, she has just been coming up big with consistent quality at bats.
Trisha Ford told us she's finding her own voice. Her improved play the last couple of weeks. Strike call, 1-2.
Teagan going, what looked like her drop ball, just trying to see what she can get in the bottom half of the zone. So with her low rise, not getting the calls, so she goes to that drop ball, finds a strike for the second strike to get herself into the pitcher's count.
That was the 25th pitch of the first inning from Kavan.
It's exactly what you want to see if you're A&M, making her work in this first inning, scoring first, trying to take this great crowd out of it as much as you can.
Mathis is worth the count full. Foul back.
I think people are still trickling in here to the game. I mean, you just never know what traffic is going to be like on a Friday night around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock to get to this field, and parking, you know, is going to be a mess here. So,
and not just softball fans coming here, baseball as well. Texas, Oklahoma across the street at Disch Falk Field. Not a lot of parking around here tonight. Lifted to center. Caden Henry makes the grab, and that'll do it in the top of the first for Texas A&M. But Michaela Warwick driving in Kennedy Powell with the game's first run. Texas coming to bat when we return. With you, Texas A&M gets a run on the board here on the top of the first. First weekend series between these two squads since 2012. Caden Henry to lead things off for the Longhorns, followed by Leanne Good, who is second on the Longhorns in batting average. A breakout season for her. Vivi Martinez, then Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart. The power of this Texas lineup, their back-to-back homers Wednesday and the 6th propelled Texas to a 3-2 win over Texas State. 27 wins in a row for Texas coming in. 7 players batting above 300 in that starting lineup. A big reason why, Amanda.
And this lineup is a lot to deal with the athleticism, talent, and of course the experience they have throughout.
A 9-game hit streak for Henry, junior from Dickinson, Texas. He leads things off in the bottom of the first. First pitch strike from Sydney Lessentine, sophomore from Alamogordo, New Mexico. Comes in with a 9-2 mark, an ERA of 2.43.
And last year was Emily Kennedy, the senior, the All-American, who got a lot of the Game 1 series starts, a lot of the big games. And Lessentine kind of took that backseat role behind Emily Kennedy coming into this year as a sophomore. She's had a really solid year with the other Sydney Peters. Both of them splitting a lot of time and a lot of the starts.
Just 7 walks allowed by Lessentine this season. 60 strikeouts. This carrying left center field, gone. A leadoff home run from Caden Henry, and we're tied at 1.
Mike White used one word to describe Caden Henry, and it was electric. She has the power, she has the speed, and it is electric to lead off the game with a solo home run to quickly tie it up after A&M scored first. A curveball did not get in enough, and Caden Henry is so twitchy, such great bat speed. Caden Henry is an absolute star.
That ball laced right into the Reese Atwood section. A number of Atwood's family members sitting there right beyond the left center field wall. Henry's 4th home run of the season. A 2-0 count to Ashley Good. What a breakout campaign. Hitting hitting 471, 5 home runs, 21 runs batted in.
Think about just the momentum that she gained. I felt like at the end of the season last year in their national championship run, and I mean, props to her for taking that into the summer, into the fall, and bringing it into her senior year, thriving at the plate. Leanne Good has. I mean, dude, the way that she filled in at shortstop because of the injury to Vivi Martinez last year, an unfortunate injury to Martinez, who had to essentially miss the entire season, and Texas struggled to find that piece at shortstop, and Leanne Good went there, stabilized the position, and then just caught on fire in the postseason.
Strike call, it's 3-1. You see the improvement from last season. 295 last year. Her on base percentage over 200 points better, 575 coming into tonight.
Look at how that great timeout call by Ariel Kowalewski. 3-0 count. Sydney Lessentine just gave up that home run. She goes out and talks to Lessentine, and quickly Lessentine able to get right back in this count to work it to a full count.
Got her. 1 down.
And Ariel Kowalewski did not start behind the plate for Texas A&M. She's just been there for the last 10, 15 games, but once she got back behind the plate, she has not left. A leader, called that timeout, got Lessentine right back into the correct mindset to just go right back at Leanne Good and come back with a strikeout.
Here is Vivi Martinez. As you mentioned, missed all of last season. D1 softball second team All-American in 2024. Comes in with a 6-game hitting streak.
I love watching Vivi Martinez play. I mean, I loved her as a freshman, the way that she competed at shortstop, and then I don't know about you or if you're any softball fans out there, but I'm a sucker for a sweet left-handed swing. And that's what Vivi Martinez brought as a freshman when we got to see what she could really do.
This lifted to right and carrying, gone! Second home run of the inning. And Vivi Martinez gets her first home run of 2026. Mike White told us when we talked to him 2 days ago, in the batting cages, Martinez is hitting home runs. And now she does it in a game to give her team the lead.
Yeah, coming off of that ACL injury, sometimes the power is the last to come, but she's been working hard to get back to 100%, and now showing it off with her power up and in, rise ball or a curve ball on her hands, and shows off that left-handed sweet swing we talked about. As you mentioned, 2 home runs in this inning for Texas as Vivi Martinez gives them the lead on her first home run of the season.
12 homers, or home runs rather, allowed by Lessentine this year. And now, Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart with 28 home runs combined, the next 2 up.
just not an easy lineup to pitch to. I mean, usually you're worried about Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart hitting home runs. So they have about half the team home runs between those two hitters, but an unexpected Henry with her 4th and Martinez with her 1st, really showing you just the depth of the power of this lineup.
Strike call, says Robert Guest over at first base, and the count is 1-2. To short, KK Dement on to first, 2 down.
So Sydney Lessentine is going to throw with good velocity, really similar to Kavan in the sense that she'll throw in the upper 60s. Go-to is going to be her rise. She likes to live up in the zone, which is high risk, high reward. High risk with the home runs that sometimes that pitch gives up, but the difference is Lessentine will work that curveball more, has an effective changeup, and has developed her drop ball as well, just like Kavan has too.
Katie Stewart, first weekend of the season, 4 home runs in 5 games. And she has kept that going. 16 home runs, team leading 500 batting average. And an OPS of over 1,800.
I saw her on a podcast with D1 Softball, and she talked about how her mental approach has been better this season. She feels like she's calmer at the plate, not as worried about stats and results. And she knew her mental game needed to get better.
Popped up. Talon Edwards makes the grab, and that'll do it in the bottom of the first. But Kaden Henry, Vivi Martinez, solo shots, has Texas up.
This is a way to respond when you have this rivalry series on your home field. You protect this field. Texas with the lead after 2 bombs.
The series is going to be fun.
The energy, the fans. Aggies don't like to go to Austin because you're in enemy territory.
You got to do it today.
It's the highest level of competition.
You got to do what it takes.
Everybody is out to win.
To leave the hunger inside.
Who's going to be the best team in Texas?
And it's so fun that these two teams are now meeting as conference rivals yet again. They met in the SEC tournament last year, but this is their first conference series since 2012, as we've mentioned, and it has been even all-time. Texas leading the all-time series 26-24.
It's about time they meet in the regular season, right? Like all these postseason matchups, and nobody wanted to play each other once A&M left for the SEC, but we need this rivalry. Softball needs it, Texas needs it. This should be played every year. The games are always so good. I mean, look at the series record, 26-24 Texas. It's always so evenly matched. I mean, this is just the best softball, and a lot of familiarity between these players and these teams, whether they played together or against each other. They know each other very well.
1-1 the count to KK Dement. Again, the years when the two teams were in different conferences, they never scheduled each other, but still faced off 9 times. Most recently, that classic 2024 Super Regional here but also the regionals in 2016, 2017, 2019, and 2023.
Yeah, you knew you weren't going to avoid each other in the postseason when one was hosting, the other one came to regionals. Just so many great matchups, and just happy to see them playing in conference again.
Late foul.
And you mentioned too, I think you did, or it was on the graphic, but them meeting in the SEC tournament last year with A&M run rolling Texas, and talked to Kennedy Powell coming into this series, and she's like, I know that's not going to be far from their mind. The last time we faced them in the SEC tournament in Athens, Georgia, last May, that's the last taste in their mouth was that run roll, that they're going to want to get us back here in Austin.
Still 2-2. 14-2 was the A&M victory that day. Tegan Cavan did not pitch in that contest. Last time the Aggies saw her, the very last out of the 2024 Super Regional here.
And that was, I mean, I might be biased because I was on the call for that one. I got to see it live every single second, but I think that Super Regional in 2024 was the best Super Regional in the history of Supers.
A&M came so close to knocking Texas out on multiple occasions.
Just had a little bit of everything, you know, game tying home runs, you had the crowd, like nighttime games, everybody was so into it. A&M came out swinging in game one, they won game one, and they were the 16 seed. Texas was the one, maybe a little bit unexpected, and then Texas came roaring back, making their way to the World Series.
How about the job of these A&M hitters? Most of them have worked deep into counts against the Texas Ace.
Yeah, you can feel their patience, right? Definitely the game plan going against Cavan. Trisha Ford even told us is just understand the strike zone and make her throw strikes to us. And as a pitcher, you're feeling their balanced and calm takes on pitches that you're used to seeing hitters swing at for you. And I think, too, that there's been some great low rise balls that Tegan Cavan has thrown, especially in the first inning, that she did not get the calls. So her and Patty Ruth Taylor, the pitching coach for Texas, trying to find out how to throw these hitters, trying to find out what will get called for a strike with this umpire strike zone. Oh, cheating the system a little bit. Usually you're not allowed to rub the dirt or the ball in the dirt here, but when the umpire does it, I guess it's going to be okay. But pearly balls can be a little bit slippery, so sometimes you want to put them in the ground and kind of dirty them up, rough them up.
So is that an instance where Cavan asks for that to happen?
It kind of looked like the umpire just took it upon herself, because you're really not supposed to go from the dirt to the ball. Like as a pitcher, if you go to the rosin to the ball, you have to wipe before you put your hand back on the ball. So surprised to see that. You don't see that too often, actually. But very nice of the umpire, because all pitchers will appreciate it, because a brand new pearly ball, it's just a little slippery. And as a pitcher, your fingertip pressure and the way that the ball feels in your fingertips, especially for a spin pitcher like Cavan, is so important to be able to pitch your best and get the best spin and control.
Another payoff coming. Dement remains alive, still 3-2.
You know, you mentioned that game on Wednesday night against Texas State, David, and I think probably everybody was a little surprised to see Tegan Cavan enter into that game because it was so tight. Texas trailed the entire game before Reese and Katie's home run, and you wondered how is that going to affect her Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the rivalry games against A&M. And look, she's in shape. She's ready for this year. We're just in March. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be throwing this game by any means, but a longer couple of innings here by A&M.
To right, and it'll one-hop the wall. Dement on her way to second. What an at-bat, a leadoff double.
Incredible at-bat, just making Tegan Cavan work. Think about it. Tegan Cavan has only had 3 outs in this inning, and A&M has already seen 40 pitches from her. Great at-bat by KK Dement, the sophomore, to be able to take that pitch toward the right side. Look at how she lets this pitch on the outside corner with like a low rise ball just travel deep into her window to send it the opposite way for a leadoff double. What an AB.
So the left fielder, Paisley Allen, shows bunt, pops it back foul.
But I'm sure going back to the Texas State game, if you were A&M coach or players, seeing Tegan Cavan enter into that game on Wednesday, you're thinking, all right, so she's thrown a little bit this week before we face her this weekend. That was a great game.
Mike White admitted to us he hoped the starters would have gone longer. Nicely placed and does the job. Dement over to third. One out here in the top of the second. Mike White, head coach of the defending national champions, first national championship in program history. And now coming into today, no championship hangover, that's for sure. 29-1, 27 straight wins, a program record, and they're 16-0 here at home.
Took that one loss, opening weekend, very early in season, and just have not looked back since. And that was a challenging opening weekend that Texas played at UTSA.
Nebraska, the lone team to knock off the Longhorns. Texas would defeat Nebraska in the season opener, a game in which Cavan struggled. They went 4-1 down in San Antonio at the UTSA Invitational. They have not lost since. So we asked Mike White about the streak. He says, we're only worried about what we're doing. Taking it game by game, coach speak if you will, but also honest with us that he doesn't want to make this moment bigger than it already is.
Yeah, I'd seen too when, coming in as the defending champs, if you're Texas, sometimes you can play not to lose, or you feel that pressure. And after they had that loss, I think it kind of felt like pressure coming off of them to have that first loss, where you're not playing to avoid it, or again playing not to lose. Like that loss, I think, kind of lifted some pressure. And then now look at them on this crazy win streak, the longest in program history, where that loss was just like, all right, it's done, let's move forward.
3-1 the count. And Frankie Vajol works the one-out walk. Runners on the corners.
First time through the order, throwing 46 pitches to this A&M team, and a lot of takes on pitches that are, I would say, are pitchers' pitches. Pitched by Tegan Cavan, not getting the call, trying to find the zone, trying to find the corners.
As you just said, 46 pitches so far. She threw 48 Wednesday and getting the win at Texas State, 3 1/3 hitless innings. And this Aggie lineup, the first time through, has certainly tested her. Tying run 60 feet away at third. We talked about how maybe that first loss early took some pressure off the team. It seemed to take some pressure off Cavan. You see her first 4 appearances, she allowed 10 earned runs. And then since then, she's been dynamite. Only 10 earned runs allowed, but in 63 1/3 innings compared to 14 earlier in the season.
Yeah, she said that, she told me coming into this weekend that opening weekend wasn't what I wanted it to be. And she actually had a conversation with Kat Osterman, and she said, look, remember who you are. Don't let one weekend define you. Remember what you've accomplished. Don't forget that that's still inside of you. Remember the competitor that you are. So just kind of can feel that pressure early on, coming off of winning the national championship. A great rebound by her as of late.
Kennedy Powell by a diving Martinez into center. Dement scores, and Texas A&M has tied it up. Back-to-back singles by Powell against Cavan tonight.
More of a power slap by Kennedy Powell to drive in that RBI. That was just a hard line drive, powered off of her bat to drive it through the infield to tie up this game.
Her 20th RBI of the season, and now Perez pops it up. Good there. That's a key out for Tegan Cavan. 2 down.
From that super regional that we talked about in 2024, there's only a couple of players for A&M that played in it. One everyday starter that is returning from that team, which is Kennedy Powell, who's experienced this rivalry a couple of times now, but a lot of fresh faces.
Kowalewski lines that foul into the Texas bullpen.
And then it's just quite the opposite for Texas. We joked about it before the game, but I feel like this core group for Texas has been together for a decade. The seniors and juniors that have played together for so many years, so much experience, many of them experienced that 2024 Super together.
Moana Kowalewski. See her numbers. And you mentioned already, Amanda, how she moved to catcher 14 games ago. Her head coach, Trisha Ford, called it life-changing for us. And it's been a big reason why this offense has suddenly sprung to life more. Kowalewski hitting .429 since the move to catcher on February the 28th. In fact, Ford told us the offense has been the biggest surprise this year, and the woman they call AK-47 is the biggest reason why. Line to left, and unable to make the grab is Kaya Altmaier. It's a foul ball, and the at-bat stays alive.
Yeah, you know, that looks off the bat like a ball that absolutely has to be caught. I think the wind is swirling a little bit. Cold front coming in. The temperature has already dropped 10 to 15 degrees since we've been at the field. So the flag poles don't really show it that much, but went back anticipating that ball going deeper, and then the wind knocked it down.
This line, Altmaier dives, can't get to it, and that's a foul ball.
There's even a napkin out there in left field that's just kind of tumbling around and moving with the wind. And it's tough to see. Like, the flagpoles to me are a bit deceiving with what I think the wind is likely doing, with 35, 40-mile-an-hour gust expected as we go deeper into the ninth.
It's expected the temperature from the time we got here, about an hour and a half before the game, could drop 15 to 20 degrees with that front coming through and the wind picking up. To left, and Altmaier makes the play this time. And that'll do it in the top of the second. More traffic and another run in, 2-2 through an inning and a half. And you said for all the games you've seen and called, 2024 Super Regional maybe the best ever. Game one, A&M Brook out to a 6-0 lead. Trinity Cannon, couple of homers. Texas made it 6-5 in the bottom of the seventh, but the Aggies would hold on to win. And then they led 5-1 in game two, a chance to eliminate the Longhorns. But Texas would score 5 in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, looked like it would win before a Maya Perez 3-run shot sent it to extras. But an Ashton Maloney fielder's choice gave the Longhorns the 9-8 win, forcing game three when Texas hung on for dear life. Up 6-2 heading into the seventh. Aggies would score 3 times. They had the tying run in scoring position, but Tegan Kadvon got the last out and the save, and Texas moved on to the College World Series.
What a come from behind win, right? For Texas in that super, it was all A&M in that first game, getting the win, coming out and scoring early, and then also doing the same thing in game two, but finding those extra innings and Texas turning the tide and then go on to win it.
We talked about all the experience coming back from that national championship squad, but an exception is Hannah Wells, the reigning SEC Freshman of the Week from Coahoma, Texas. She started in the circle and in the batter's box. Got a win in the circle against Baylor, also homered in that game. That was last Friday here. .291 batting average and an OPS of over 1,000.
A ton of power in her swing. you know, what she did in high school and bringing that power into her bat as a freshman year. And I mean, anytime you can get the National Gatorade Player of the Year, who is a pitcher and a hitter, it's big time value add to your roster, and that's what Hannah Wells brings.
31 home runs last season at Coahoma High School, hit .602, OPS over 2,200, and then 15 shutouts and 2 perfect games as a pitcher.
Get to experience a rivalry for the first time as a freshman, getting a little taste. But you know, too, that you have all that experience in those upperclassmen on this roster to look up to, that they can tell you what it's like, that they can give you advice in moments like this before you even get in the box.
Swing and a miss. Lessentine gets the strikeout. There's one down. But again, Wells the exception. Look at all the players still on the Texas roster from that Classic 2024 Super Regional, 7 of them.
Ton of experience, just a lot of starters mixed in there. Kennedy Powell for A&M was the only starter. Maya Perez had a big pinch hit home run, and she's really known for that swing. And her coming out party with that pinch hit home run that she hit in the Super Regional in the bottom of the 7th inning to tie it, to then push it to extras. That experience has just been so huge for Texas in that Super Regional and in their national championship run last year.
That was her first career home run. What a sign of things to come. One of the best hitters in the nation last 2 seasons, Maya Perez. 0-1 to Kaya Altmaier. Floats in there for a strike, 0-2.
And then how about somebody like Kaya Altmaier, who actually signed to play at Texas A&M under the former coach Joe Evans. And then there was a coaching change. She ended up going to Arizona for a couple of years, and now here she is at Texas playing against Texas A&M.
Foul back. She started off the season in a platoon role, and then Mike White said she simply owned it in the field and at the plate. He adds he's been impressed by how she remains calm. She's behind in the count here, 0-2. Another swing and miss, back-to-back strikeouts for Lessentine to begin the second.
Yeah, you're really seeing Lessentine just come back from giving up those couple of home runs. I mean, look at the way that she's been able to compartmentalize those 2 home runs that she gave up and then follow it up here in the 2nd inning with a couple of strikeouts, drop ball in the inside corner. She can go both up and down. Coming into Texas A&M, that rise ball and her curveball were going to be her best pitches, but the development of her drop ball as a freshman and now even better as a sophomore has led to even more success, and the ability too to give these hitters a different look when maybe they're sitting on her rise ball. She can go down with her drop.
You mentioned the home runs allowed in the first. Kaden Henry, Vivi Martinez, both solo shots. Those are Texas's 2 runs so far. Freshman J.C. Nichols takes the 1-0 for a strike.
When you even think about the home run to Kaden Henry that started off this game for the bottom half of the inning for Texas's offense, next hitter was good, and she struck her out. I mean, that tells you something about a pitcher's insides and something that you've seen from Sydney Lessentine as a freshman when she entered into some tough situations as a freshman in the postseason and was able to come through. The mentality is there for this sophomore.
That caught by the catcher Kowalewski, able to stay with it. And Lessentine strikes out the side in the bottom of the 2nd, still 2-2. Number of Texas A&M fans in the bleachers beyond the center field wall. Most of the fans here in burnt orange, but the maroon and white have certainly showed up here to McCombs Field. And what a job Trisha Ford has done elevating this Texas A&M program. You see the 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances for the Aggies. They were the #1 national seed last season, upset by Liberty in the regionals, but that doesn't take away from the job she has done.
Every year just gotten a little bit better, and been there for 3 full years and just been impressive. I feel like what her and her coaching staff have been able to do at Texas A&M softball to kind of put them back on the national stage consistently in the top 25, consistently even in the top 15. Just continuing to get better every single year. As last year, #1 national seed. Year before that, #16 national seed.
Big cut, 0-2 to Wark. And the offensive improvements have been stark. Those last 3 seasons especially, and coming in 2026 averaging just over 7.5 runs a game. Chopper to third, Nichols on to first.
Yeah, she gives a lot of credit to her hitting coach who came with her from Arizona State, Jeff Harger, who's coaching third base right now, and just consistently being able to put up these numbers. Trisha said, no matter who's on the roster, kind of what it looks like coming into the season, there's been a way to develop these hitters into just a consistent, powerful lineup every year that she's put a roster together.
The offense at its best coming in. Slow start for Texas A&M this season, but 7 of their 9 losses overall to ranked opponents. 2 weekends ago, they went to Baton Rouge and won a series at LSU for the first time ever. Swept Kentucky and College Station last weekend. Talon Edwards popped up to Nichols her first time up.
You asked Trisha Ford before this weekend, who's your biggest surprise so far this season? And she kind of gave it some thought. She really mulled it over, and she's like, honestly, our offense. Our offense in the fall was not looking great, or probably where she wanted it to be. So the way that this offense has shown up consistently, no matter if they're playing an unranked opponent or a top 25 opponent, has surprised her.
Sky high and into the seats in front of us. That was Tegan Cavan's 60th pitch.
Yeah, top 20 in a lot of different categories nationally on base percentage, batting average, slugging percentage, as well as runs per game. A lot of similar looking numbers when you look at Texas's offense. They had the edge in a few of those categories, but very similar.
Edwards, 6 for her last 11. It's her first game in a Texas A&M uniform going up against Tegan Cavan, but has experience against her. In fact, hit a home run off Cavan in March 2024 while at Oklahoma State. She was a freshman All-American back in 2023. And the impact transfers on this Aggie squad.
A friend told me that she is the only player on the A&M roster to hit a home run off of Tegan Cavan, and that, of course, is wearing an Oklahoma State uniform. Yep. So between Edwards and Michaela Wark coming from Oklahoma State with that experience playing against Texas, just not in the SEC.
Foul ground and out of play for Stewart. Count remains full.
And a lot of foul balls that are headed towards these fans, and I'm not going to lie, I'm holding my breath a little bit when it starts to head down, when gravity pulls it. There's not been a lot of great plays, and I think the wind is getting to them a little bit, just trying to see where it's going to come down.
We've had a number of 2-strike counts to Aggie hitters, but no strikeouts yet for Cavan. And another great at bat by an Aggie hitter. Edwards works the walk with 1 out in the 3rd.
Surprising too, because with 2 strikes, opponents are hitting against Tegan Cavan just 104. It's an extremely low average. A strikeout pitcher who you just don't really want to face 2 strikes against her. But we talked about it in these early innings. A&M's patience and just calmness at the plate is glaring.
Now Kelsey Mathis. A&M got on the board first. Michaela Wark single, scored Kennedy Powell. And they tie it up in the second. As KK DeMint would score on a Powell single. 0-2 now the count.
In this inning, Tegan Cavan is going more to her drop ball, and what that's going to end up doing is making her rise ball that's a little bit lower in the zone even more effective. Wouldn't surprise me here if she goes to it and gets a strikeout.
To short on the short hop, Martinez on to first. Nice play for out number 2 as Edwards moves over to second.
So smooth at shortstop. Again, the fact that she wasn't there last year in that national championship run, I know had to be hard for her. Think about how Texas won a national championship without essentially their starting shortstop who can make plays like that.
And now DeMint to double the lead off the second and would later score. To center. Wind is bringing this in and on the run. Henry's unable to make the play. Edwards, who was running on contact, able to score, and Texas A&M has the lead.
Look, I know that the flagpoles that we're going to show, they are not telling with what this wind is doing. Caden Henry thought that she would take a back step back and get underneath this fly ball. That would just be a can of corn for her. So look at where she starts thinking, all right, I'm right there. And then the wind comes and knocks it completely into right center field, where she misses it for an A&M run. And I know we keep showing the flagpoles. It doesn't matter. This wind is crazy. We saw it for Kaya Altmaier. We've been seeing it for the foul balls for the fans. This is a lot to deal with for the defenders right now.
So single runs in the first, second, and third for Texas A&M. And off the bat of Paisley Allen. This is carrying in. Gone! Just her second home run of the season. And it's 5-2 Texas A&M. What looked to be the third out the previous at bat. The wind kept the inning alive, and Paisley Allen makes Tegan Cavan pay with the 2-run shot.
It makes her pay for that free pass to Talon Edwards as well. In games like this, you have to take advantage of those mistakes. And look at Mike White talking to our home plate umpire. I think we might see a pitching change here in the third inning.
Texas has not lost a Tegan Cavan start since last year's Super Regional here, May 22nd, 2025. Cavan replaced with 2 outs in the third and her Longhorns down 5-2. Citlali Gutierrez will replace her. Tell you more about the senior hurler when we return. Citlali Gutierrez, 4th appearance out of the pen this season. She started Wednesday in the win at Texas State, allowed a run, or 2 runs rather, in 3 innings of work. Overall, her numbers quite good, 5-0, an ERA of 1.86. But I don't know how many people, if any, expected Tegan Cavan to be knocked out in the third, but the Aggies have put 3 runs on the board to take a 5-2 lead. And with 2 outs here in the top half of the third, it is Gutierrez taking over for the Texas Ace.
Yeah, and A&M has had pretty good success against Tegan Cavan. Going back to that Super Regional, giving up 7 runs, and then what she's given up tonight. And coming into this series, Trisha Ford, I think, felt like they had a good game plan against Tegan Cavan. And being able to feel like you have a good game plan and then execute it are just two very different things. But A&M has 100% been able to execute that game plan well.
1-1 count to Vrajul. The top of the order on deck. Charging good on to first in time. And that'll do it in the top half of the third. But not before the Paisley Allen home run to give the visitors a 5-2 lead in Austin.
Yeah, Paisley Allen to the opposite side, the alley. An unexpected person to hit it, just her second of the season.
Number of power hitters coming into today, but a number of unexpected shots over the wall, including Paisley Allen to give her team a 5-2 lead. Back in the bottom of the first, Kaden Henry led off the inning with an opposite field shot. That tied the game at 1. And then Vivi Martinez, her first home run of 2026, gave Texas the lead at the time.
The ball has been flying out of the ballpark. This game has already been a lot of fun, back and forth, a lot of scoring. Of course, Kaden Henry will come up second in this inning. We'll see how Lesentine throws against her after that leadoff home run.
Ashton Maloney in the 9 spot leads things off with her Longhorns ranked number 1 in the nation, down 3 here in the bottom of the third. Sydney Lesentine struck out the side in the second after giving up those 2 solo shots in the first. Maloney betting .297, an on-base percentage of .416. Count is 0-2.
You know, and Sydney Lesentine had done a better job of not giving up as many home runs, something that she had struggled with in February. In fact, in the month of February, she had given up 7. Coming into this game in the entire month of March, only given up 3. So she had been better about keeping the ball down and limiting the damage. And of course, giving up these 2 home runs in that first inning to Texas, the 2 runs that they have on the board.
Her last start last Saturday just gave up 1 run in a complete game, 7-1 win over Kentucky. Just threw 82 pitches in that outing. She's at 35 with an 0-2 count here in the third as Maloney fouls it back.
When she throws her rise ball the most, she'll throw it at about 50% on the year when you look at her pitch usage. But what Trisha Ford loves about Sydney Lesentine is all the different tools that she has, where if plan A isn't working, she can quickly shift to plan B and go maybe a little bit more down or throw her changeup more, just work a different quadrant or a different speed to keep hitters off balance.
Maloney began the season in the leadoff spot. Now Kaden Henry, who is on deck, takes up that role. Last season, Maloney started all 68 games, one of 3 Longhorns to do so. To right center, and off the glove of Kelsey Mathis. Maloney on her way to second, slides in safely.
Yeah, it looked like she got there. I mean, hit off the tip of her glove, but I think that this again is from the wind, just knocking this ball down. Kelsey Mathis got a great read. She's right there, just hit right off of her glove. And I think that this wind is causing so much havoc for these outfielders.
Rolled the double, Maloney's 5th of the season. Now Kaden Henry, whose solo shot tied things up in the first, steps to the plate.
I'm just laughing about this win because usually you go straight to the foul pole or the flags, and I say foul poles, I haven't mean to, but the flag poles, and like, oh, it's just whipping around. It just is deceiving when you look at them, but it is whipping like crazy for these Audis.
Well, all the flags look different. The Texas flag beyond straight center field is blowing hard. The American flag beyond the left center field wall, not near as much, and just kind of shot at the trees beyond the right center field wall. They're moving quite a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely picked up too since the game has started.
Two out the count to Henry. That home run in the first, her 4th of the season. She has a team high 13 doubles. 3rd on the team in batting average coming in.
You can tell Lessentine trying to be really careful with her. I'm sure that that home run is in the back of her mind, just wanting to be careful and maybe a little bit too perfect. And here Ariel Kowalewski on another 3-0 count, going to come out and talk to her, and that worked well last time. She did it to Leanne Good on a 3-0 count. So Henry hit that home run, and then Lessentine fell behind Leanne Good to a 3-0 count, worked her way back to a full count, and got the strikeout after Kowalewski spoke to her.
That's just the 8th walk allowed by Lessentine all year.
Well, and you're getting into a really scary part of the Texas order here. That's your big RBI producers with Good coming up, Martinez, Atwood, and Stewart. Multiple runners on base and no outs. Texas can do some damage here.
Good batting .465, a 170-point improvement from last season. Mike White says she learned how it's okay to not be perfect, and because of that, she's put less pressure on herself this season compared to previous years. That gets away from Kowalewski. Both runners advance. 2nd and 3rd, still no one out, and a 2-0 count to Good.
I'm not surprised at all to see Trisha Ford coming out to talk to Lessentine. She was just kind of lost it. Ashley Maloney hit that ball to center field, but facing this top of the order for Texas 2nd time through, she's not been able to find the strike zone. Going from great command to then just big misses that you're not used to seeing from her.
Obviously, the stakes aren't as high. I think you mentioned it once already. This has felt like how the game has gone, like the 2024 Supers. Early lead, Texas A&M. Texas comes back. They couldn't get over the hump in game 1, did in game 2. Of course, A&M almost rallied in game 3. And here we are already. We've had 2 lead changes. Aggies with 1 in the top of the first. Texas 2 solo home runs, gave them a 2-1 lead. After it was 2-2 heading into the 3rd, Aggies putting up a 3 spot in the top half of this frame, and now Texas threatening.
That chat with your coach always just seems like it doesn't. You know, I feel like every time a coach goes out to talk to a pitcher, that next pitch gets her back on track. She throws a strike. Like it never fails.
For as much as you did in Aggie uniform, same during your playing years?
Same. Every game I call, same.
And took something off. 2-2.
And sometimes you just need to hear that vote of confidence again from your head coach, who also is the pitching coach, and Trisha Ford, of just, hey, don't forget to do this, or hey, you're really good, don't forget it, and they get you locked back in.
Grounder by a diving Powell into left field. 1 run in, stopping at third is Henry. It's 5-3 as Maloney scores.
Lessentine went back-to-back changeups in that count to Good, thinking that she could go back to that pitch because she didn't look great on it the pitch before, but an in-at-bat adjustment by Good to recognize that, get her foot down, and still powerfully hit a ground ball through the infield for an RBI.
22nd RBI for Good, and her 6th in SEC play. Here's Martinez. Solo shot off of Lessentine in the first. Is there sometimes more pressure on a pitcher when all of a sudden you get a lead?
Sometimes you can feel that, but I think more times than not, it makes you feel more at ease. Like your offense is going to show up, like maybe you can give up a run and it's going to be okay. But, you know, there is that other side. Oh my gosh, I don't want to blow this lead. I don't want to give up a hit or a home run or a run after my offense has given me the lead. So I can see that, but more times than not, I think it makes you a little bit calmer.
And then you have this environment.
Yes.
2,000 fans packed in here. Ripped, base hit. It'll roll all the way to the wall. Henry scores. Third. Tie game.
That ball was crushed. I mean, absolutely smoked past Maya Perez. She tried to get her glove up, but that exit velocity had to have been 80 miles an hour plus to tie up this game. Vivi Martinez swinging it well in this game.
And now, the player with the most home runs in Texas history, Reese Atwood. Quickly, Texas has answered. The Aggies 3 spot in the top half of this frame with 3 of their own. Still no one out. She has struggled in SEC play, 4 for 20. Although with the home run, still solid season overall, just under 400. Ripped to left, but the wind's going to keep it in, and it's caught by Allen. Off the bat, I wondered, but there's one down.
Well, that's the side that she has all the Reese Atwood pull power. So these fans here in Austin are used to seeing that ball come off of her bat like that and hit the apartments across the street. The wind is crazy. Off the bat, if you're Reese Atwood, this feels like a home run. You're thinking that you got it, you're watching it, and then all of a sudden, Paisley Allen is underneath it. This dang wind.
Trisha Ford comes out. We saw Tegan Cavan replaced in the circle for Texas in the top half of the third. Lessentine will be replaced here in the bottom half as the Longhorns have responded with a 3 spot here in the bottom of the third to tie it at 5. Kate Munnerlyn to replace Lessentine. We'll take a timeout. 3 runs by Texas A&M, and Texas responding quickly with 3 runs of their own, 5-5 with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd.
It's been lots of scoring in this inning. Dealing with the wind, pitching changes. Texas answering back in the bottom half of the inning.
And both our starting pitchers knocked out in the 3rd. Kate Munnerlyn now on in relief with a record of 2-3, an ERA of 5.10.
I'm thinking for Trisha Ford to bring in Kate Munnerlyn, there's something about this matchup and the way that Munnerlyn throws that she likes against Katie Stewart. Maybe it's a lefty matchup going against her. Maybe it's this changeup that Munnerlyn is going to bring in. But you know, there's certain matchups that these coaches look at when they're game planning. They just look at film and numbers and data as their own teams and, of course, the opposing teams. And so they have these maybe penciled in ideas of, all right, if I get in this situation and Katie Stewart comes up, maybe I can bring in my Kate.
Fouled off. Count 2-1.
Somebody like Munnerlyn, if you get 6 outs of her, if you're Trisha Ford, you're feeling really good. This is likely not going to be a long, extended outing, but a very strategic time to bring her in against this part of the Texas lineup.
She's allowed 6 earned runs in 5 innings coming in against SEC opponents. Big cut, 2-2. But she did throw the program's first perfect game in 21 years. That was against Kennesaw State in February. Katie Stewart, 46 career home runs, 177 career RBIs, a breakout junior campaign. I say breakout, she's been awfully good, but her number is just astounding in 2026.
It's so true. When you look at those numbers compared to last year and what she's doing deep into this year, hitting 500 coming into this game, half of her hits are for extra bases. It's been on fire.
Got her. So Trisha Ford, for now, pushes the right buttons. Munnerlyn comes in and strikes out Stewart for out number 2.
And again, there's just something about this game prep, the way that Kate Munnerlyn throws against the way that Katie Stewart swings, that Trisha Ford being right on top of it. You know, these coaches play out every single game scenario that they might face, and they want to be prepared for it.
Munnerlyn's 24th strikeout this season in 23 2/3 innings. 1-0 count to the freshman Hannah Wells. Struck out her first time up against Sydney Lessentine. Go-ahead run for Texas at second, and Vivi Martinez. Her 2-run double tied things up earlier this inning at 5. Appeal to third, no swing, good take by Wells, and it's 2-0.
These offenses, David, just make such quick adjustments in this day and age. I mean, offense in our sport is absolutely thriving. Home runs, just hard hit balls, exit velocity. And you can see how quick Texas made adjustments against Lessentine in this inning.
To left center, Mathis under it. And what a job by Kate Munnerlyn in relief. But Texas, 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, answering Texas A&M's 3 runs in the top half. We'll talk to Aggie head coach Trisha Ford when we return in a 5-5 tie. These two longstanding rivals as we head to the top of the fourth, and we're joined by Texas A&M head coach Trisha Ford. Coach, David Salzman, Amanda Scarborough with you. Well, you told us a couple of days ago you like it how this series is going to be a little spicy. How's it been the first 3 innings for you?
Yeah, well, I feel like it's lived up to it. You know, it's going to be the battle of who can survive right at this point in time. So we just got to keep, punching and then seeing if we can withstand their punch a little bit better.
Coach, how did you know that it was the right time to bring in Kate Munnerlyn to face Katie Stewart there?
Yeah, I think that's just studying the game and studying kind of, what that situation called for. And so I felt like that was a better matchup.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks so much. Gig 'em.
I really enjoyed talking to her a couple of days ago. I think a great mix between fun but being ultra focused on the task at hand.
Yeah, she is super competitive. She wants players playing in her program that are super competitive, that want to be in these games with the pressure on, tie game at the plate, in the circle, making the play out on defense. Just highly, highly competitive when you think of Trisha Ford, and Mike White on the other side as well.
Softball star at St. Mary's of California in Moraga, and she's the only female student athlete in school history to have her jersey retired.
Well, and she got a taste of what rivalry was like when she was coaching at Arizona State and got to face that ASU-Arizona rivalry for the first time, and she just loves it. She is here for it.
Kennedy Powell, couple of singles, but that was off Tegan Cavan as Lali Gutierrez starts the fourth. Yeah, I love the competitiveness as we talked about, because Trisha Ford told us, at Arizona State, we took our beatings early on from Arizona, but by the end, we were giving the beatings. She took a lot of pride in that statement, you could tell.
For sure. And Kennedy Powell has run through the box a couple of times, leaning on her slap, something that she, of course, has worked hard on all throughout her career, and can lay down just a beautiful bunt as well. Worked hard on just swinging away in the fall. In fact, totally took her bunt and slap away in the fall to just work on swinging away.
Strike called.
But she had told Coach Jeff Harger, the hitting coach for A&M, I want to be an All-American. What do I need to do? And he said, you need to develop swinging away. So that's what she did. She's leaning on her slap here in this game. A couple power slaps that we've seen her have, but seeing the ball well.
Count now full. Her batting average 100 points better than last season. And worth mentioning again, reaching base a couple of times tonight. 36 straight games she has reached base. Same with Maya Perez, who was on deck. And that goes back to late last season. Got a piece.
She was actually travel ball teammates with Reese Atwood. So they're really close to each other right now. Played travel ball together with the Hot Shots, but has always been a talented athlete. Of course, she's on that reach base streak. But Issa Torres was also on that team. Cassidy Pickering from OU, Ava Brown at Florida. What a great team. Nadia Zua at Texas State, who pitched against Texas on Wednesday.
So another example of an Aggie hitter going deep into the count. We saw that with Tika Gavan in the circle multiple times. Still no strikeouts by Texas pitchers tonight.
Sitlali is such a great compliment to Tegan Cavan, because she's going to lean more on her drop ball down in the zone, and it's a great pitch.
Lined over the head of Martinez. This will roll to the left center field wall. Powell stops at second with a leadoff double.
She is just playing with so much confidence. She said that she had a conversation with the team coming into this series, understanding that she was one of the players with the experience in this rivalry matchup. And she told the team, I need y'all to bring your everything to this series, because it's going to be heated. And hasn't she brought her everything? 3 for 3 in this game, leading as a senior and the leadoff hitter on this team.
She's had multiple hits in 14 games. That leads the squad. So Maya Perez, 1 for 2 with a single off Cavan. First time to face Gutierrez. Strike call. Cavan gave up 5 runs in 2 2/3. Gutierrez came in, got a ground ball off the bat of Frankie Vajol to end the third. Both teams scoring 3 in that third inning.
Trisha Ford told us coming into this series when we asked her, you know, you think they're going to pitch to Maya Perez? Like, how do you think Texas is going to handle her? Because LSU a couple of series ago just decided, literally, I think it was 16 balls straight in a row against Perez. Let's just completely take her out. Kentucky started the same strategy against her. So we're interested to see what Texas was going to do. But they've gone at her. They've thrown her a lot of strikes. And you know what? Maya has chased a little bit too.
Yeah, she went 5 for 6 in the first 2 games 2 weekends ago against LSU, and then Tigers wouldn't pitch to her, and Kentucky started not pitching to her. 12 walks in her last 4 SEC games coming into tonight.
You see SEC teams just do not want Maya Perez to be the one that beats them. And what that means is that other players around her have to be able to step up and protect her, specifically Michaela Wark, who is on deck, who has the second highest amount of home runs on the team. Or actually, her and Perez are tied with that 13 home runs this season. Too, moving her to the 2 spot in this game. The first time that she's hit the 2 spot this season. I had my first 4 all penciled in for A&M, Powell, and then Talon Edwards and Maya Perez and Wark, and Trisha Ford shuffling it up a little bit, making sure that Maya Perez gets some more ABs.
Got her. Just the 8th time all season Perez has struck out. 1 down.
Now this crowd knows how big of a deal that strikeout is. And Citlali can not only go down in the zone with 69 miles an hour with her drop ball, but she has a nasty off-speed pitch that she can work in there that she brought in at 60 for the first K of the game for Texas pitching.
1-0 to Kowalewski, who went 0 for 2 against Cavan. Kennedy Powell remains at second. And a 5-5 tie with 1 out here in the top of the 4th. One and one.
Interesting that Citlali Gutierrez got that call a little bit more up in the zone, because Tegan Cavan did not get that pitch called early on. And I do not think that's the location that she was wanting that pitch.
To first on a hop. Stewart touches the bag herself, 3 unassisted. As Powell moves to third, but there's no 2 down.
Number 14, Michaela Wark.
Michaela Wark drove in. Powell in the first. Designated player tonight for A&M. She is much better at the plate as the designated player versus when she starts at first. Most of her starts have been at first. You see the .341 batting average overall, but she's almost 500 in this role, .259 when she starts at first base.
That's a great statistical find by you. And then Maya Perez is, I think, the opposite. So Maya Perez starts at first base and Wark as a DH, but really they're interchangeable. But when you look at the batting averages, they're exactly where they need to be in hopes that they live up to that batting average.
One and 2 to count. Yeah, coming in Perez when she starts at first base, hitting .652.
Oh my goodness. And we're well into the season at this point too. That's a lot of games played there.
Ripped left center field, carrying and gone. Michaela Wark puts Texas A&M up again, 7-5.
The in-at-bat adjustments that we are seeing in this game from both teams is so fun to watch. Michaela Wark getting to wear the Howdy hat and celebrate with her team after that 2-run home run. Now passing on some information to Kelsey Mathis there, who potentially could come up in this inning, but a 2-out scoring. You'd love that if you were a coach. 2-out scoring is the name of the game.
Her 14th home run of the season. in her 4th in her last 5 games. She's also had multiple hits now in 4 of her last 5 contests.
And these offenses for both A&M and Texas, they're just so deep. There's so many different hitters who can beat you in so many different ways. And props to Kennedy Powell to be on again, to be able to score and lead off this inning. And think about it, 2 out of 3 times that Kennedy Powell has come up, she's led off and got herself on and scored.
In fact, all 3 times the Aggies have gotten the lead-off batter on, to your point. That has led to a run. Aggies have scored in every inning. 1-2.
That was a pitcher's count, too, a 1-2 count to work. That was a mistake by Citlali Gutierrez. And as a hitter, you see that pitch right down the heart of the plate with 2 strikes. You were unleashing on it, and that she did.
Michaela Warwick, one of the many impact transfers on this squad. Previous 3 seasons at Oklahoma State. What a first year in College Station, giving her team the lead.
And look at how she's crowding the plate. These lefty hitters in the A&M lineup, not scared to get right on top of the plate. And even when she steps into the box, her upper body is even leaning out over the plate. Like with the upper body, her hands, her barrel there, or excuse me, the knob of her bat, like she's out over the plate.
Good. Backhands, throw to first on a hop, and Stewart can't handle it. Edwards at first base with 2 outs. Katie Stewart has to walk that off, and yeah, she's going to be tended to now. That ball bounced high off her chest. And they will give her time to get over that impact. We'll take another look.
And Leanne Good trying to one-hop it and then, ooh, into her chest and throat.
Right, it's closer to the neck area.
Hope that she's okay. And think about David, the athlete that Katie Stewart is, and all the different positions that you could put her at as a coach and confidently pencil her in the outfield, at shortstop at times last year, now at first base. I mean, you really could put her anywhere, and she can be a great defender. Hoping that she's okay and can shake this one off.
She's one of the heroes for Texas Wednesday. Her 6th inning home run at Texas State gave Texas a 3-2 lead, and they would win by that score, extending the Longhorns' win streak to 27. 29-1 coming in, 6-0 in SEC. Texas A&M, after a slow start to the season, has recovered and then some. 5-1 in league play and up 7-5. You can tell that still in pain, but Stewart, of course, will stay in.
Well, and when you get hit in that area, or like your throat area, it lingers. Like it's just that type of pain that doesn't go away. It's uncomfortable for a little while, and it's just scary 'cause it's pretty close to your face too.
So Edwards reaching on the 2-out single. Texas A&M's 10th hit. First pitch strike to Kelsey Mathis. He's 0 for 2.
They have double the amount of hits that Texas has 5. A&M now has 10.
Snap throw, and Edwards back safely.
Sure does help to have a 6-foot-tall catcher back there with some long arms, huh? I mean, we have seen her back behind the plate so much in her career at Texas. Starter since her freshman year.
This is ripped left center on the run. Altmaier can't get there. It one-hops the wall. Stopping at third is Edwards. And this 2-out rally continues. A double for Mathis and runners on second and third.
A&M is putting together some great swings in this inning. I mean, really all throughout this game. Just smooth, getting their barrel on plane, whether it's a drop ball or a rise ball. The patience that they showed early in this game against Tegan Cavan, their at-bats right now are just so tough, and they're also taking advantage of some of these mistakes that are out over the middle of the plate. I wonder if without the win, that would have had a chance to get out of here. I didn't really think it off the bat, but just one of those balls in the air that just kept going.
Their second double of the season. Gutierrez, 1 inning in relief so far of Tegan Cavan. The 2 runs allowed off the 2-run home run by Wark earlier this inning. 4 hits allowed by Gutierrez so far.
A&M with 2 outs has been really good. 5 for 8, 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position, 7 for 15 with runners on. And these situational numbers for A&M's offense really good so far in this game.
And now the shortstop. Dement doubled and scored in the second, singled and scored in the third. 2 for 2. She is 6 for 14 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs this season. Gutierrez ahead 0-2.
Let's see if Gutierrez can work out of this. She's giving up a few runs here with A&M. With a 2-run lead would be huge for her to make a pitch and a pitcher's count to get out of this with limited damage.
Just foul.
That's why they always tell you when you're a runner at third base, make sure you get your lead in foul territory, because if it hits you and you're in foul territory, you're not out.
Right.
But if it hits you and you're in fair territory, then you're out and you are an inning ender. That ball was crushed down the line and Talon Edwards quickly jumped out of it.
Here comes the 0-2. There were 2 outs with the runner on second before Michaela Wark's 2-run home run gave A&M a 7-5 lead. Then an Edwards single and a Mathis double. 1-2 to Dement. Won't get out of the infield. Martinez hauls it in for the 3rd out. Texas A&M takes the lead again. Home run number 14 of the season for Michaela Wark.
Taking advantage of a 1-2 mistake to send it well out of here. 14 home runs and 47 RBIs for Wark, the transfer from OK State.
Mike White's Texas Longhorns down 7-5, and we are joined now by the Longhorn head coach, And Coach David Salzman, Amanda Scarborough with you. And thanks for joining us. So a lot of resilience by both teams' offenses, at least from our vantage point. How about you through the first 3.5 innings?
Yeah, no bad. There's a slugfest that's broken out here at the moment, but you know, both teams are battling pretty hard, and it may come down to who has the last at bat. Hopefully we can keep chipping away.
Coach, with watching Vivi Martinez at the plate, how great is it to see her swinging the bat the way that she is in this game here tonight?
Yeah, we had a pretty good feeling she was going to break through pretty soon, and she's been able to do it tonight so far, so it's great to see for us for sure.
Coach, thanks for joining us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Hook 'em.
An outstanding game Vivi Martinez has.
Her first home run of 2026 came in the first inning, a 2-run double in the third, but she was left on base. In fact, that's the only runner left on for Texas so far today. Texas A&M has left 6 on base. 7, 8, and 9 in the order for Texas. Kaya Altmaier takes the first pitch strike.
And Kaya Altmaier was those big pickups in the transfer portal. You saw her enter it and thinking, man, who is going to get her? I mean, just the experience that she brought from Arizona, where she started over 100 games, had over 100 hits, scored a ton of runs, over 90 RBIs. I mean, she is a true all-around player, and Texas able to pick her up and add right into this powerful offense.
Came in hitting .371. 1-2 the count.
And the other big pickup in the offseason that Texas got was getting Aaron Earlywine. And of course, they had Steve Singleton, who then took the job to be the head coach at Cal, and all of that happened kind of late. And so it was like, all right, well, who's Texas going to get to be their hitting coach? Steve Singleton would be great for them for many years, but had the opportunity to go and be the head coach at Cal, and in comes Aaron Earlywine, who last year helped Ole Miss get to their first ever Women's College World Series, with a longtime head coach at Missouri for many years before that. Now the associate head coach here, and that was a big time pickup. Wasn't in the transfer portal, but a big time pickup for Texas to get him to be their hitting coach.
Well, the coach's portal is always open, right?
That's right.
Earlywine over 600 wins as a head coach, and now an assistant here. 2-2 to Altmaier, who was second team All Big 12 last season at Arizona.
And coming from Ole Miss, and it kind of put them in a little bit of a pickle, because then they had to find a coach late, and they pick up Morgan Claveman. But how about Ole Miss tonight beating Tennessee? So that's a huge win for Ole Miss, who has just had a really tough beginning to their SEC schedule, playing all top 5 opponents.
Altmaier works the walk to lead off the fourth. Yeah, that's Ole Miss's first conference win, and they do it on the road against the team that was #1 in the nation not long ago.
They played Texas, Alabama, OU, and then now Tennessee, and it has just been a grind, but they played close. They played OU close on Monday night, led for the majority of that game, so happy for them to get their first win in SEC play and just stay positive. It's hard to do in the SEC sometimes with how deep and how good this conference is.
Well, that win by Oklahoma Monday over Ole Miss, their 21st in a row. And what, 99.9% of the time, that should be the longest win streak in the conference, maybe in the nation. But nope, Texas, winners of 27 straight coming in. But what a test from their long-standing rivals. And back playing over a weekend in the same conference, first time since 2012 when they were members of the Big 12. So Matea Lawson is the pinch hitter for J.C. Nichols, freshman from Tinley Park, Illinois, hitting .295. Did a couple of home runs, 14 runs batted in.
Quick follow-up to OU. They're playing in Baton Rouge against LSU right now, and they're down 1-0 in the top of the 6th inning. So OU being tested Monday, and then now to start this series in Baton Rouge, but getting shut out right now, which does not happen a lot, that OU offense.
Crowd did not like that Megan Rabin strike call. It's 0-2. Now to Lawson. Looking for her first hit in SEC play. That's foul. Kate Munderland on in relief of Sydney Lessentine. It's fouled back close to us. Still 0-2. Came on with a runner on second. Got back-to-back outs to end the Texas threat after they had tied it in the bottom of the third at 5. Leadoff walk to Altmaier. And now another 0-2 coming to Lawson. Diving attempt by Powell at third. Boy, initially I didn't think she'd get close to that ball. Almost made the ground. Heck of an effort.
Same. Tells you how quick she is and what a good read that she had. But going from her position over at third base to then quickly gaining ground. She's about a foot within that. But great effort by her. Exactly what you want to see in this rivalry matchup.
Still a 1-2 count. Chopper right into the glove of Perez. On to second is Altmaier, but there's one down.
Yeah, still a productive out, though, for Lawson to battle with those 2 strikes and hit it to the right side to be able to advance that runner into scoring position. All those productive outs matter so much in a tight series and an intense series. I mean, I feel like we should be in the 7th inning at this point with all the offense, but we're still just in the bottom of the 4th.
Ashton Maloney swings the opposite way, base hit. Rounding third, Altmaier, and she'll score. The throw went to the shortstop Dement, who turned around, did not throw home. I don't know if Texas A&M expected Altmaier to round third and try to score, and she does.
Yeah, I don't know quite what happened there with Texas A&M's defense, because they definitely would have had a play at home, but this is why that Lawson productive out was so important, to get a runner in scoring position to even have a chance at scoring. When Paisley Allen gets the ball, she's not even at third base. So Paisley Allen may be forgetting that there was a runner at second base because of that productive out, but clearly should have been making that throw home.
Just the 10th RBI this season for Maloney. Comes at a key time as Texas looks to come back again. A&M scored 1 at the top of the first. Texas 2 solo shots, including one off the bat of Kaden Henry to give them the lead. After A&M made it 5-2 in the top of the third with the 3 spot, Texas responded with 3 in the third. Now after the Aggies had 2 in the top of the 4th, here comes number 1 Texas yet again. 1 in. The tying run at first with 1 down.
Well, how about the fact 8 out of the last 9 games that these 2 teams have played each other in Austin have come down to 1 run. I mean, that tells you how tight and that it hasn't mattered who's ranked what, right? It hasn't mattered what the record was entering into the game. 8 out of the last 9 games here in Austin between these 2 teams have ended in 1-run games.
When the announcement was made a few years back that Texas would join the SEC, I saw, and this is a loud minority, but saw a bit on social media from Texas fans. A&M's not really a rival anymore. They were lying. They knew what was returning. To left, Allen, 2 down.
Well, I have all 3 games here this weekend, so this will not be the last time that you hear me say this if you watch all 3 games, but we need to have rivalry matchups that happen every year in the SEC, and A&M and Texas need to be playing every single year. Follow baseball's lead and have 2 opponents that you play every year, and then the others are mixed up, but A&M and Texas should be playing every single year. Among other rivalries in the SEC should be happening every year.
Leanne Good takes the first pitch strike. It's funny, since 2012, these 2 teams, despite playing multiple times, have only played in College Station twice, once in the 2017 regional. And then in 2012, last time they faced off in a conference series, there was 1 game in College Station and 2 here.
Yeah, it's a shame that we didn't get to see this matchup for so long, just unless they were essentially forced to play each other in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, baseball started playing midweek games. You saw a little bit of it, but not in every sport after the Aggies moved to the SEC after that 2012 season. Good to have this back, that's for sure.
It was one as a player you just always look forward to. You know, you knew it was going to feel a little different. You knew the crowds were going to be a little bit louder, a little bit bigger. You're going to be familiar with the other team, having played against them in high school or travel ball. You lived for matchups like this.
Goods RBI single her last time up in the third, made it 5-3. She'd score on a 2-run double by Vivi Martinez, who is on deck. 1-2 the count to the Texas second baseman. To third, Powell on to first. And Munnerlyn keeps the damage just to 1 run. 7-6 Texas A&M as we head to the fifth. Well, Texas A&M head coach Trisha Ford told us this weekend would be spicy, but did we expect 7-6 Texas A&M through the first 4 innings of this weekend series? 4 home runs combined, clutch hits on both sides, and what a game this has been. Game 1 of the 3-game set. Paisley Allen, second home run of the season in the third, put A&M on top, and after Texas tied it, Michaela Work's 14th blast of the year put A&M up 7-5. 2 solo shots by the Longhorns in the first. Vivi Martinez, a couple of hits. And the top of the order getting it done for Texas, 4 for 7.
4 home runs total in this game, and 3 out of the 4 by some kind of unsuspecting characters, or it's not the 4 best home run hitters on the field. One coming from Work, who is one of those.
And here is Allen to lead off the 5th. And a 2-run shot with 2 outs in the third. Her second home run of the year. And that was the last batter that Tegan Cavan would face. So Lali Gutierrez starting the 5th. She's allowed 2 runs. That on the 2-run homer by Work we mentioned coming last inning. Both starting pitchers tonight taken out in the 3rd inning. And 2-1 the count to Allen.
Looked like a straight take there for Paisley Allen, and a good pitch to hit over the heart of the plate.
Ripped base hit. Allen, couple of hits and a sac bunt in the second. Perfect so far at the plate, 2 for 2.
A&M, again, it just looks so confident at the plate against Cavan, against Gutierrez, and really, and you've brought this up several times, David, no matter what the count is, they've been really good with 2 strikes. They've been good at times hitting the first or second strike that they see in the count, just looking very comfortable in the plate entering this game.
Here's Vajol, who's 0 for 1. Grounded out against Gutierrez in the third. So Allen at first played at Georgia before transferring to College Station. There's a number of players who played at SEC schools before transferring to Texas A&M. Of course, Talon Edwards was at Oklahoma State, and we asked Trisha Ford about it, about her bringing back a number of these players who are from Texas but went to other schools out of state first. And she said, you know, initially when I came to College Station, and this is now her 4th season, I don't know if we were good enough as a program for these players to come. But now, as the Aggies have gotten much better, #1 national seed last year, far more attractive for transfers to come to College Station and play for Coach Ford.
I think that's why it's been so important, as we mentioned earlier in this game, just the success year after year that she's quickly had here. And even looking at the SEC record, her first 3 seasons here at A&M, she's not had a below 500 SEC record, which in this conference is not easy to do because you are playing a ranked opponent essentially every weekend.
2-1. Another 3-ball count for an Aggie hitter. Vajol 0 for 1 with the walk. Last 10 games coming in, hitting .417. That includes their 6 SEC contests. Aggies winning 5 of them.
You know, I'll be interested to see how A&M and Trisha Ford work their pitchers for the 5th, 6th, and 7th. Saw Lessentine start, Munnerlyn come in. How deep can she go on her outing? Usually 6 outs. Trisha Ford's feeling very good about Munnerlyn, but will Sydney Peters come into this game, likely your game 2 starter? Or could Sydney Lessentine maybe re-enter back into this game? A conversation that Trisha Ford possibly had with Lessentine when she exited the game.
And I think that question also goes on the flip side. In fact, Tegan Cavan is one of 2 Texas pitchers warming up in the Longhorn bullpen.
It's like on a game like tonight, you need to have everybody ready. But I'm sure in a perfect world, Trisha Ford would want to save Sydney Peters for tomorrow and does not want to have to bring her into this game. And for Mike White, maybe Cavan does come back into this game after starting and getting pulled early.
Cavan on the left, Cam Salmon on the right. Another payoff. Into the glove of Stewart. Thought about going to second, but instead the safe out as Allen is now in scoring position. And now the top of the order, and Kennedy Powell 3 for 3 so far tonight in the series opener. Oh, 1. Their 14th multi-hit game. A couple of runs scored. And you mentioned earlier with runners in scoring position coming in, hitting .542.
Sticking with her slap, and you know, I asked her about slapping, and she said she did it when she was about 9 or 10 years old, moved over to the left side, and she's never actually had a real slapping coach. Everything that she has learned has kind of been self-taught or watching videos. Ooh. Gutierrez gets the upper part of the zone there. That pitch was not there when Cavan started this game, but Kennedy Powell just learning from others. She really looked up to Kelsey Stewart from Florida to learn after her.
Slow dribbler, Gutierrez to first. Ooh, Stewart lost it for a second, but enough time to corral the ball to make it out number 2 as Allen now at third.
Well, that just tells you how speed can get in these defenders' heads. Gutierrez, even on a ball quickly hit back to her, felt like she had to be so fast to field that ball and get it to first base that it then made it more difficult on Stewart. All of that comes back to Kennedy Powell's speed, and everybody in the field knows how fast she is.
Maya Perez due up, and we'll see if Gutierrez will face her. She did strike out Perez last inning, just the 8th time Perez has struck out all year. course, Perez made a name for herself in the 2024 Super Regional. A 3-run shot for her first career home run in game 2 to tie the game at 8. And that was the start of what has been an amazing career for her.
Well, and I think that this conversation is, are we going to pitch to her or not? First base is open. Ariel Kowalewski, who is 0 for 3, is behind her. If we're going to pitch to her, let's get on the same page. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to be really careful. We're not going to give her anything. Let's maybe try to go at her, but see if she'll get herself out. And if we put her at first base, that's okay. So an improved Maya Perez didn't get a ton of playing time her freshman year, but last year she did as an All-American, 16 home runs, over 400 batting average. Has improved those numbers even this year.
494 at the plate, 13 home runs, well ahead of the pace from last season when she hit 16.
A nasty off-speed pitch that she got her out on. Remember, she struck out last time on an off-speed pitch. The only time that A&M has struck out is that Perez versus Gutierrez last AB.
One and 2.
The game plan is clearly going to that off-speed pitch consistently. Now Jeff Harger is going to call a timeout and make sure that she knows that that's the game plan, and making a quick adjustment here was something that she can think about, do with her timing to adjust now with 2 strikes.
How hard is it to adjust with that 2-strike count?
It's really hard, especially with the way that she has just not been able to pick up that off-speed pitch out of the hand of Gutierrez really at all. But we've seen some really good in at bat adjustments in this game. Talked about it earlier from both Texas hitters and A&M hitters. But she's likely going to get it again and see if she can be more on time with it, not so out in front.
Here we go with the 1-2. Ripped, base hit. Allen scores. They pitch to Maya Perez. Perez makes them pay. 8-6, Texas A&M.
To the best 2 hitters in the A&M lineup, Michaela Wark and now Maya Perez. Citlali Gutierrez has gotten ahead in a 1-2 count and made a mistake. Look at this pitch location. Looks like it's just up too much. Fair enough on the outside corner, but because it is up, Perez is able to barrel it up. Where she had success with her off-speed pitch was more down the zone. She leaves it up with 2 strikes, and Perez gets an RBI.
Ball 1 to Kowalewski. That is the 39th RBI for Maya Perez this season. Last year, 73 runs batted in, broke a 43-old Texas A&M single season record. She might break that again here in 2026. To center, charging Henry, dives, makes the grab. The wind has caused havoc to all outfielders tonight. Kaden Henry stays with it, and it's the final out of the top of the 5th.
Electric at the plate, electric in center field. Kaden Henry is just a baller. She can do it all. Wins, causing all kinds of havoc. And Henry said, not on my watch. Martinez is 2 for 2 in this game with a couple of extra base hits, including her first home run of the season with that sweet left-handed swing. I mean, that was a towering fly ball to right field, and that was a shot off of her bat for that double down the right field line. Every time that she has come up, she has had quality at bats, hitting the ball hard in both ABs.
Her average up to 388. Vivi Martinez on to lead off the bottom of the 5th. Plenty of offense tonight, but Texas A&M has scored in every inning. They lead 8-6 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Kate Munnerlyn replaced by Sydney Peters. What a job by the sophomore. Came in with an ERA over 5, but allowing just 1 earned run in 1 2/3.
The first batter she faced was Katie Stewart and struck her out in a big moment with runners on base.
So you wondered if Tricia Ford would go to Sydney Peters, knowing that she was the likely starter tomorrow, and here she is. It is her 12th appearance out of the pen this year, 20th overall. A record of 9-3, an ERA of 2.44.
I think you're going to see both of these coaches do whatever it takes to win this game. Throwing everybody out there, third pitcher for Texas A&M in this game, and as you mentioned, likely going to be the Game 2 starter. We'll see what happens today. This is a inning by inning, game by game situation in this series.
Count 1 and 2. Just saw the 75 strikeouts in 66 innings for Peters. Opponents hitting 197 against her.
She's going to go to her rise ball majority of the time, about 57% of the time. Can also mix in her changeup. That rise and changeup are her 2 go-to pitches. She'll throw that rise ball on multiple levels.
Two and 2. Reese Atwood on deck. Katie Stewart to follow here in the bottom of the 5th.
It's gotten so much colder in this game too than when we started. I woke up living here and it's 85 degrees it got to today, and these temperatures have been dropping rapidly.
When we arrived about 4 hours ago, it was mid-80s and humid. Totally different now. Martinez has worked the count full. Blankets are out.
It's prepared. That's looking ahead at the weather like some people did not do.
We both live in this area. I thought a week ago that we wouldn't bring the blankets out until maybe November. To center, Mathis takes a look. It's off the top of the wall and gone. No home runs in 2026 coming into tonight. 2 in Game 1 against Texas's heated rivals.
Her hands were so quick and short to the ball on that pitch that it's a full count, more over the heart of the plate. She's been seeing the ball so well in this game tonight.
And now Peters has to face Atwood and Stewart. It's rare you can say about Reese Atwood, can she get it going? Because since February 28, she's 7 of 34, although 3 of those 7 hits home runs. Foul and drifting out of play into the new general admission bleachers. Here's another look at the home run.
Rise ball out over the heart of the plate, just did not get a corner, but ended up hitting the top of the wall. And getting out of here. Second solo home run for Martinez in this game.
One and 2.
Well, it's interesting that it's a one-run game when A&M has greatly out-hit Texas. A&M has 8 runs on the board. Of course, Texas has 7, but A&M has 13 hits and Texas has 7. And the difference is that A&M has left 7 on base. Texas has only left 2.
The 7 runs on 7 hits for Texas, coming with Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart to combine 0 for 4. You know, before this stretch of last month where Atwood struggled at the plate, she was hitting .511. And Mike White says she's wanting it so bad she's forcing things a little bit. Here, working the count now to 2-2. Still, you know at some point she'll get it going. Most home runs in Texas history, 67. Including a leadoff home run in the top of the 6th Wednesday at Texas State and a come-from-behind win. Peters strikes out Atwood for out number 1.
You just never feel comfortable pitching to her, though. You know, despite those numbers, and you just think about what she's done in her career, not what she's done as of late. And it can be really frustrating if you're Reese Atwood to, you know, go through some weeks where you're not maybe living up to what you know you can do. But as an opponent, you still know exactly what she can do.
Yeah, you can see the look of frustration in the dugout after that strikeout. 1 down, bottom of the 5th, and now Stewart. First time to face Peters, rips that foul. Mike White's okay. Saw that laced right behind him.
The ball comes off of her bat just differently, especially this year. When you look at furthest home runs that have been hit in Division I softball up to this point in the season, her name is there, I believe, a couple of times alongside Kendall Wells, the freshman at OU.
She's on a 5-game hit streak coming in. She's 7 for 18 against SEC pitching this year with a homer and 6 RBIs.
I'm thinking at this point, Sydney Peters is going to potentially have to come inside here again and see if Stewart is going to be ready for that inner half after missing that low rise ball in the outside corner. Goes back to that changeup, trying to stay away from that inner half, but Stewart working it back, or working it now to a full count because she's laid off the changeup, unlike Reese did not. Now Peters has to come likely with the inner half.
Another rip, another foul ball.
You'll take that, actually, to see if that could set up now a curveball that she can throw on the outside corner, or a low rise that she likes to throw on that outside corner that looks like a curveball. The fact that you just snuck in a pitch on the inner half and got away with it sets up this next pitch.
To short. Dement can't handle. Stewart safe.
That should be an out. She had her the hard in, followed with the changeup for the ground ball. But because, again, the exit velocity, the ball comes off the bat different of the bat of Katie Stewart. So even a ground ball has that exit velocity, just a high speed rate that gets to the shortstop, that makes it that much tougher to defend, and can also create some crazy hops that you're not expecting.
So instead of 2 down and no one on base, Stewart, the tying run at first, and Hannah Wells at the plate. Reigning SEC Freshman of the Week. Got the win against Baylor 1 week ago and homered in that same game. That ball dribbles away from Kalalewski, and Stewart slides into second. Tying run in scoring position.
Great read by Katie Stewart. Little shift going on with the A&M outfield now. Of course, everything after the ball in the dirt, everybody's kind of shuffling around, but Hannah Wells up to bat. KK Dement was playing more up the center of the field. You see Paisley Allen, who's playing more toward left center.
And so with Stewart on second, that brings Mike White out to make a change. Taylor Anderson, the pinch runner. She scored the first run of the game Wednesday at Texas State off a Bobcat error. Sophomore from Dripping Springs, Texas, representing that tying run at second base. By the way, the Katie Stewart getting on base rolled a single. Was fouled back. A little further, you might have had a shot at it. Down 0-1, or rather 2-1. Foul over to our left, and the count now 2-2.
A lot of these change-ups and seeing what she can do with it. Sydney Peters doing a good job of keeping that change-up low in the zone, and Hannah Wells doing a good job of fouling off that pitch to extend her AB.
Left field, home run distance, foul.
Looks like Texas is fairly on Sydney Peters on the inner half with her rise ball. She's really getting pressed to use her change-up more and try to find that outside corner, but seems like anything to these righties in and hard, they're just on.
Full count.
That is a great take. Awesome pitcher's pitch. Sydney Peters does not get the call, but that's what I'm talking about. Just trying to find that outside corner to the righties, because right now they're just sitting on hard inside and trying to lay off the change.
To left, off the wall. Anderson scores. We're tied again.
Just a great at bat by the freshman. See how that pitch is right over the heart of the plate, trying to work the outside corner, but Peters has just not been able to find it. And so Wells fouled off some pitches to eventually get that mistake to tie up this game.
Mike White told us Hannah Wells, as the season progressed, worked her way into the lineup. And the SEC Freshman of the Week, her RBI single, tying it up at 8. She comes out. Adea Wallace is the pinch runner and represents the go-ahead run for Texas with one out in the bottom of the 5th. Texas A&M run ruled Texas in last year's SEC tournament. That is the exception to the rule when it comes to this series. A classic 2024 Super Regional here, all 3 games, and a classic to begin this weekend series. First between these two teams in 14 years. Victoria Hunter, pinch hitting for Kea Altmaier. Junior from Houston, her 20th at bat of the season.
Well, there's been so much offense in this game. It's already almost been a 2.5-hour game. We're still in the bottom of the 5th inning. This punch for punch, there's only been 1/2 inning where there has been a 0 on the board, and that was the bottom of the 2nd.
Hunter called upon more last year, had 5 home runs, 25 RBIs, and an OPS of almost 900.
was a pitch that she was trying to throw to Wells that I thought was essentially the same pitch that she didn't get the call and then ended up making the mistake. It gets the call there, and it's a pitch to these right-handed hitters she absolutely has to have.
We've gotten to the point where most strike calls against Texas hitters gets plenty of boos from the burnt orange in the crowd. Boos loudest there, 2-2. Hunter went around. 2 down. Big strikeout for Sydney Peters. And now Matea Lawson to the plate with 2 down here in the 5th.
What Peters wants is them to chase that rise ball. Hunter did it, and then kind of that check swing, unsure swing by Lawson. It's really helping out Peters within this inning.
Oh, 0-2. So Peters giving up the home run to Vivi Martinez to lead off the inning. An RBI single to Hannah Wells, coming back with a strikeout to Victoria Hunter, and 1 strike away. And getting out of the jam with a go-ahead run at first. Left center, Allen makes the grab, and that'll do it in the bottom of the 5th. 2 in the 5th for the #1 ranked team in the nation. And what a classic we've had here in Austin. Vivi Martinez, one of the offensive heroes for Texas. 2 home runs tonight, her first 2 of the season. 1 coming in the bottom of the 5th as Texas has rallied again to tie things up against Texas A&M 8-8. And back in the circle, Amanda Scarborough, is Tegan Cavan. Struggled out of the gate starting for the Longhorns tonight. The smile on her face, but pressure moments coming up after she allowed 5 earned runs in 2 2/3.
Big moment for her to re-enter back into this game. We saw her warming up and wondering if she would get back out there, but with Texas tying up the game that last half inning, now it's basically like a start when it's 0-0 back when she was pitching in the first inning.
You went through that a few times in your career, starting, coming out, back in. Is it like a mental reset? How does one have to reset in this situation?
Yeah, it definitely is a big mental reset. And you know, it's a huge opportunity too, because you know you didn't pitch your best to start the game, and come out, see your team fighting, makes you fired up in the bullpen whenever you're warming back up. And you just know if you're somebody like Tegan Cavan, you could re-enter this game. Especially when Texas got back and has just continued to score, the likelihood of her re-entering the game becomes higher.
You see her pitch count on the score bug on the top left of your screen. 70 pitches in the first 2 2/3. A 1-2 count to her first batter in the 6th, and Michaela Wark, whose 2-run shot in the 4th gave Texas A&M a 7-5 lead at the time. Just 1-0 on the board. That's in the bottom of the 2nd for Texas. Every other half inning, a team has scored. Took something off, strike 3.
Especially going up against a home run hitter and Wark, getting ahead and then getting her out with an off-speed pitch that just kind of floats in there, almost as like the same tunnel as her rise ball, but it's about 60 miles an hour to get Wark. Huge K.
Talon Edwards fouls the first offering off, 0-1. Walked in the 3rd against Cavan and would later score. Singled off of Citlali Gutierrez in the 4th.
What A&M did so well against her in her start was just show a ton of patience on her rise ball. And I think there were some really quality pitches and some balls called that, you know, were 50-50 at some points, could have been strikes called, and just some high leverage pitches that went A&M's way, and just mix it with the patience that they showed at the plate and not really chasing a lot and helping her out, put a lot of pressure on her to find the strike zone and now to go to some different looking pitches, which we'll likely see here with their drop and change.
Two into the count. So Citlali Gutierrez allowing 3 runs in 2 1/3. After again, Cavan giving up the first 5 Texas A&M runs in 2 2/3. Got the win in relief Wednesday at Texas State as the Longhorns rallied to win 3-2. Every A&M hitter but one, Ariel Kowalewski, has reached base tonight. Fouled again.
Trisha Ford said coming into this weekend to have success against Texas, and specifically Tegan Cavan, for the hitters, they had to be aware of the strike zone and being able to distinguish a ball on the plate versus a ball off the plate, something that they did well when she started the game in the early innings.
Left field, Altmaier, 2 down.
She's bringing in that changeup a little bit more. It's effective.
She started the game giving up back-to-back singles, then Wark an RBI single to get the scoring started. 2 straight outs to begin her 2nd appearance of the game here in the top of the 6th. First pitch ball to Mathis. Across the street, Dish Falk Field, Texas baseball taking on Oklahoma. Kelsey's brother Patrick played baseball at Texas, led the team in slugging percentage in 2016 as a sophomore. Good, stays with it. And for the first time, the Aggies are retired 1-2-3. 8 all through 5 1/2. Ashton Maloney, Caden Henry, Leanne Good, 9, 1, and 2 in the Texas order to lead off the bottom of the 6th. And when you take the 3 of them and Vivi Martinez, 7 for 10 at the plate today with 3 long balls.
There's been a lot to handle. Ashton Maloney has had a good game in the 9-hole, and then Caden Henry was the one that set the tone leading off the game with a home run and answering back. And that's why if you're a Texas fan, you'd love to see her in that leadoff spot, because think about that response from her with that home run that just showed the rest of her team we are going to fight in this game.
First pitch swinging, carrying, and on the run, it's Mathis. 1 down.
You never know with these balls in the air on a windy night like tonight. Great read and track down by Kelsey Mathis, who just kept going, kept pumping her arms and her legs to stay with that deep into the left center gap.
Now top of the order in Henry. Led off the first with a home run. Walked scored in the 3rd. Sydney Peters' 2nd inning of work, allowing 2 runs back in the bottom of the 5th to tie this game at 8.
And that home run came in a 1-1 count, answering very quickly. A&M put up a 1 spot at the top of the 1st, and Texas put up a 2 spot with 2 solo home runs. Caden Henry, electric, electric, electric in so many aspects of this game.
Got her. 2 down.
Dare I say, and maybe I won't say it just yet, but dare I say, are the pitchers finally settling into this game in the 6th inning? Is that what I'm seeing here?
Took 2.5 hours, but maybe so.
At a 1-2-3 inning, we have not had that many of them. We had a strike out the side in the bottom of the 2nd.
Good RBI single and would later score in the 3rd. Senior from San Antonio, 1 for 3.
This, to me, David, is what makes the SEC so tough. I mean, you have series that feel like this is just one game. It feels like it's already been an entire series, but this is just one game. And this is what it's like every single weekend in the SEC. It is an absolute grind.
2-1 to count. I'll tell you, as somebody went to Texas, live here, we were all excited about the move to the SEC, but watching these teams compete in it, in this sport, in all sports, the difference has been so stark. And certainly in this sport, easily the best in the nation, SEC softball.
It is. Anybody can beat anybody, truly. Some great series this weekend. Arkansas beat Florida tonight. Remember, Florida won 2 of 3 against Tennessee, who was ranked #1 last weekend. So it is just back and forth in the SEC.
Florida now 8-2 in the league. Tennessee lost to Ole Miss. Ole Miss's first SEC win, and the Volunteers are now 6-4 in the SEC. Good looks at strike 3, and the pitching has now come to play. Tegan Cavan and Sydney Peters, 1, 2, 3 sixths.
Frozer on this low rise ball inside that hit a better spot. Man, good, just did not know what to do with that.
what's becoming a fairly brisk evening here in Austin. 8-8 Texas A&M. This has lived up to the hype and then some as we head to the top of the 7th. Tegan Cavan, quite the difference between the 6th inning and her first 2 2/3 tonight, Amanda.
Yeah, 3 up, 3 down in that 6th inning when she re-entered the game. And now let's see what happens in the 7th. Of course, this rivalry matchup is coming down to the 7th inning in a tie game.
7, 8, and 9 for Texas A&M. Dement, Allen, and Vrajel. Dement doubled and scored in the 2nd, singled and scored in the 3rd. Those first 2 hits off of Cavan. Count is 1-1. Two and two.
And the one thing about Tegan is that she's just going to continue to go at these hitters with her rise ball. When you throw it about 75% of the time and everybody knows it's coming, that tells you how good her rise ball actually is. That for 3 years now, they've seen that rise ball. Everybody knows the scouting report on her, and she can still get outs with it. And the unique thing about her rise ball is the velocity that she throws it at, still with such good spin. Oftentimes a pitcher with great rise ball spin takes a little bit of speed off of it, but she still throws that rise ball some high heat at 69 miles an hour.
One down.
And then when you have to mess with that changeup, which both of her strikeouts have come the second time that we've seen her, and both have come on her changeup. So when you're so worried about 69 at your eyes and defending that rise ball up in the zone, then you have to deal with her changeup, and she can get swings and misses like that.
Paisley Allen, 2-run homer earlier tonight. That was the last batter Tegan Cavan faced in her first 2 2/3 innings. Allen would single and score in the 5th.
And I think too, she can look, a little bit more effective because they faced Lali Gutierrez for a little while in relief, right? So she's going to go down, mix in that crazy off-speed pitch that she throws with a lot of spin, and so then when you face a Tegan Cavan rise ball again, it could look even better. Whereas when she started this game, they were so good at laying off of that pitch. They looked very ready to face her, but that's why you love having pitchers on your staff that complement each other, because Cavan started the game with her rise, Gutierrez comes in with her drop, and now Cavan trying to finish this game with the rise.
Back-to-back strikeouts to begin the 7th.
That changeup really makes all the difference. It gets in the back of the hitters' minds, and now they're chasing the rise ball out of the zone because they're worried about the changeup with 2 strikes, or they're worried about the rise ball up in the zone and forget about the changeup.
Vrajel due up, but instead, Maddie Sowney will be the pinch hitter. Hitting .275. A freshman from Hawaii with 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in.
She's been really good as of late in pitch hit situations. She started out the season looking like she was going to be the everyday catcher. Had some defensive mistakes, and they gave a couple of different people some tries, Dee Dee Baldwin and Grayson Coleman, and then eventually Ariel Kowalewski went back there, and she just has not given that spot up. But Sowney can swing it.
Kevon one strike away from giving her team a chance to walk it off in the bottom of the 7th. It has been tense since the opening at bat. One and two. Martinez, Atwood, Stewart due up in the 7th for Texas. Tegan Kevon trying to get her team there tied up. Sowney's worked the count full.
Everybody trying to make sure that they know what the count is. Patty Ruth Taylor. Is it 2-2? Is it 3-2? There's 3-2 on the board, 2-2, just kind of different counts in different places.
Yeah, the scoreboard in center field was late to put up that 3rd ball. I think that's also what led to the confusion.
And now she's saying 2-2. You thought 3-2. You were very confident in that too. 2-2 count.
It's still 2-2. Pitch number 100 of the night coming from Tegan Kevon.
What a bat by the freshman. Not easy to do. You come in and face an All-American in Tegan Kevon, who's throwing her best of the game, and your team is counting on you to try to turn over this order to get Kennedy Powell, who's on deck, and 3 for 4 tonight, a chance to hit here in the 7th inning.
To third and off the glove of Nichols. Sowney safe. What an at-bat by the freshman. On at first base with still 2 down.
Great at bat. Fell behind 0-2, mind you. Fouled off some pitches and then got something that she could hit hard after just battling off some tough ones to give this A&M offense and team a little bit of life after Tegan had gone 5 up, 5 down. Off-speed pitch, she's out in front of it, but the difference is it's a little bit up in the zone. It allows her to hit it off the end of the bat and pretty hard down the third base line and off of the glove of Nichols.
They ruled it an E5, first error for either team. And now Kennedy Powell at the plate. Ball 1. Vrajel has come in for Sowney over at first base.
The strike zone, I'm not going to lie to you, has been a little bit unpredictable in this game. And that last pitch was definitely not a called strike for Kavan when she first was out there. And I think that both teams have had moments where they've gotten calls, moments where they haven't gotten calls for them, against them. Like, I'm not saying it's been one way or the other by any means. It's just been hard to figure out if you're a hitter this late in the game.
After the reset, Powell awaits the 1-1. One of 13 active players with over 200 hits and 50 stolen bases. Takes a strike, 1 and 2. A 149th career start in an Aggie uniform, hoping to keep the inning alive. Tegan Kavan hoping to get to the bottom of the 7th, tied at 8.
And that's just a great eye by Kennedy Powell, because Kavan is just kind of getting a little greedy on the outside corner after those first 2 strike calls to see what she can get. So the crowd, of course, is like, wait, isn't that the same pitch? And it's like 3 balls off the plate. She's going to go right back to the outside corner, though, a little bit more in.
Got her. 3 strikeouts for Tegan Kavan in the top of the 7th. Number 1 Texas can look for its 28th straight win with a run in the bottom half.
Vivi Martinez has been hot, hot, hot. 3 for 3 in this ballgame. Her first AB, a pull-side home run, then hit a 2 RBI double, and then another 2-run home run in the 5th inning. So 2 home runs for Vivi, her first and second of the season, her first multi-home run game of the season. What a game for her.
Just the 2nd time she's had multiple home runs in the game. First time, you got to go all the way back to February 2024. She did it at UCLA. Missed all of last season due to injury. Mike White told us she's 100% healthy now, showing her power tonight for the first time all year, and she leads off the bottom of the 7th. The chance for Texas to take game 1 of the series.
It's another one of those pitches that has absolutely been a strike. And this point in the game, calls and pitches like that can change the game.
Kamalewski looked back at Megan Rabin, wondering where that pitch was, why it was not called a strike. Left center carrying, 1 hops the wall. On her way to second, Martinez slides with a leadoff double. She's 4 for 4 and represents the winning run in scoring position.
Her hands are just so good, short to the ball. And it's how she's looked all game long. Calm, not getting out ahead of herself. Seeing the ball so big from start to finish.
We talked about Reese Atwood's struggles the last month. A chance to overcome those. With a chance to drive in Vivi Martinez with a winning run. Atwood 0 for 3 tonight. And now they will look to put her on first.
Let's see if they can execute these pitches. Don't forget about the finals against Nyjah Kennedy and what happened when Reese Atwood was trying to get intentionally walked.
Even though she's been struggling, do you agree with this move?
Yes, because it creates a force and just takes the pressure off of the defense to be able to now have a force at third, second.
But no outs. And Katie Stewart, Texas's leading hitter, coming in. She singled in the 5th. Taylor Anderson pinch ran for her and would score the Longhorns' lone run in that frame, which tied the game at 8. Atwood will come out. And Katie Bennett, the pinch runner. And of course, Martinez represents the winning run, but more speed now at first. Katie Stewart, Texas's best hitter.
A pretty quiet night at the plate.
That hitter, bases loaded, and no one out.
Likely Trisha Ford's going to ask for a review here just to see if maybe the call could go her way, that they could overturn this in any way.
Texas A&M is challenging that the ball was not completely in the box. The following play is under review.
They're also checking on Ariel Kowalewski as well, because I think that ricocheted off of Stewart and hit her. So Trisha Ford was just wanting to make sure that she could check on her and not be looking like she's trying to use one of her timeouts, making sure that she can play catch. But yeah, looking to see the location of that hit by pitch, if it was fully in the batter's box, just making sure. She turned into it, if it possibly was located in the river, but I think that this call is just going to stand. We have a great look here. Worth asking, right? Haven't seen a ton of replays, just asked to be sure.
Yeah, you talked about earlier how when you would pitch sometimes, and the coach would come out and allow you a chance to reset. This sort of does that as well. Sydney Peters has gotten into trouble. The review causing the stoppage of play. But if this call is upheld, and here is the call.
After review, the call stands. Runner is awarded first base. Texas A&M has one remaining challenge.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, gotcha. I got you.
Thinking that Trisha Ford will go out and have a conversation with Peters. Actually and this is a really smart move, because I was literally just about to say how Peters is a rise ball pitcher, does not throw a lot of ground balls, and with the bases loaded, you're really just dying for one pitch, 2 outs to turn a double play here. So she's going to turn to Grace Sparks, who is more of a down ball pitcher with her drop ball, to be able to try to induce a ground ball to the infield to either get the force out or a double play.
So here is Sparks, second year at Texas A&M, transfer from Ole Miss, senior from Dayton, Texas. Makes her 9th appearance of the year, 5th out of the pen, 3-0, an ERA of 2.55. And you just said it, Trisha Ford says she is our drop ball specialist. But Quite the situation to get out of. Vivi Martinez led off the inning with a double. She's now at third. Reese Atwood intentionally walked. Katie Bennett, the pinch runner for her, is at second. And Katie Stewart hit by a pitch at first. The only other time Texas led tonight, at the end of the first, they led 2-1. And Martinez 60 feet away from having Texas walk it off in a Game 1 win. The series history between these two teams, you said it, doesn't matter, the records, the rankings, so many of these games wind up being so close. Hannah Wells, her single tied the game at 8. And the reigning SEC Freshman of the Week at the plate. Strike one.
Nettles playing in, anticipating a ground ball, trying to get that force out, of course, at home, knowing that the winning run is at third, and even better if they could get 2 outs on 1 ground ball.
Ground ball off the glove of Dement to home, not in time. Texas takes Game 1. The #1 team in the nation wins its 28th straight game.
Yeah, and so much credit to Vivi Martinez for getting herself on to lead off this inning. Infield playing in, tough play for KK Dement, just knocks it down and tries to make a play at home. But what a game by Vivi Martinez. Scored 3 runs, had multiple RBIs, 4 extra base hits. And Texas with a come-from-behind victory. This is a crushing one for A&M because they led most of the game, right? So for Texas, what a great fight, just not ever being out of it. Tegan Cavan entering back into this game, and tomorrow you know is going to be just as spicy as tonight.
So Patricia Ford so close to a Game 1 win, but a quick turnaround trying to even the series tomorrow. Texas A&M so close to taking that first game tonight.
And I think that you love your offense and your at-bats that you put together throughout this game. You cannot keep your head down for too long, knowing that you still have a chance to show up tomorrow, win this game, get right back into the series, and have a chance to win it on Sunday.
Texas rallies and wins 9-8 on the Hannah Wells RBI Fielder's Choice. For Amanda Scarborough and our entire crew, I'm David Salzman saying so long from McCombs Field. Vivi Martinez, the hero. Her first 2 home runs of the season, and she scores the game-winning run. This has been a presentation of the SEC Network and ESPN.